Hello, friends. Welcome to today's football predictions of Betcraft. Today is another very beautiful Wednesday morning, and we've come once again with our games. All right. Yesterday we had quite a very successful outing. Yesterday, seeing that 4 games out of the 5 that we predicted yesterday, we actually quite on point. And just aside that Portuguese match against Scotland where they played out, ended up playing a draw, 0-0, the Bayern draw unexpectedly, and it does happen in football. But we also saw the positives, the likes of Croatian match, versus Poland. We saw how they ended up playing lots of goals, scoring a lot of goals in that very match. Even in the first half, they were able to score over 3 goals in the first half. Now that tells you a lot. Nobody expected that, but that's the sort of bangers you'd be expecting in this very channel. All right. Kudos to those of us who won actually that is today, and today once again we'll have so many games going on across the globe, and we've selected a few of them and we looked into them considering how they fared in recent times, and also looking at their head home and away perspective. We're able to come up with verdicts for these very games. All right, in a short while we'll be looking at these matches one after the other, and I want to use the opportunity to ask the folks who are coming across our video for the first time that are yet to subscribe to kindly hit the subscription button right now so that you don't miss out on our subsequent games that will always come up on this very channel on a daily basis. All right. On that being said, let's head to the business of today. Without further ado, all right, let's start with the very first match. It is in Russia Cup where we have Sochi who will be up against Volga. Oh yeah, Novsk. All right, what a name. Actually, very difficult name to pronounce. But Sochi, the home side, have actually won 2 games in the last 6 games. They also had 4 draws in the last 6 matches that they had. And the away side, Volga have managed to achieve 3 victories, two losses, as well as 1 draw in the last 6 matches that they had. But also bear in mind that Sochi is actually in the Russian First League, and Volga, their away side, is actually in the Russian Second League, so a lower division. And this is a cup match. Okay, so when we look at how these two teams have fared in recent times, you could see that for the home side, Sochi have actually won 4 games from home in the last 10 home matches that they had, and they've also had 3 draws as well as 3 losses in the last 10 home games that they had. And looking at the away side, on the other hand, Volga, they've actually managed to achieve 3 wins in the last 10 away games, but they've also had 4 draws, but they've lost 3 games in the last 10 away games that they had so far. So there's no record of head-to-head for both sides, but knowing that Sochi, it's a team that is actually in much more better division. Seeing that they're in first division and they have much more quality compared to their away side. So we do expect the home side winning this very match out shortly. It is a home win. That's our verdict for that very counter. Okay, that takes us to the next game for today. It is actually in the Nigerian League where we have Kwara United coming up against Sunshine Stars of Akure. So when we look at the home side, Kwara United have won 2 games in the last 6 matches. They've also had 2 draws as well as 2 losses in the last 6% games they had so far. And away side, on the other hand, Sunshine Stars have managed to achieve 3 wins, 2 losses, as well as 1 draw in the last 6% games for the away side, Sunshine Stars. And when you look at Kwara United, the home side, for how they fared from home, they've actually won 6 games in the last 10 home matches that they had. They've actually lost 1 out of those. In the game against the Niger Tornadoes, but they've had 3 draws as well. That tells you that 60% of the home matches for Kwara United have resulted to victory for the home side in the last 10 home games that they had. So looking at the away side, Sunshine Stars, they have managed to achieve 3 victories from away. Also, they've had 1 draw, but have lost 6 games in the last 10 away games that they had so far. The last away game was against Kano Pillars, and lost out on that occasion by 2-0. And looking at the head-to-head performances for both sides, how these two teams have fared. The last time they met, it was Sunshine Stars who played from home on that occasion, and he ended in a 1-1 draw for both sides. And prior to that, we saw Kwara United playing from home, defeating this side by 1-0, followed by also Kwara United playing from home again, winning by 1-0 once again. So that tells you a lot about Kwara United when they are playing from home. And in this very encounter, we expect to see the home side achieving the results in this one, seeing that the last 8 meetings for both sides have resulted to under 2.5 goals, and they've never scored anything above 2.5. So in this very encounter, we expect to see a home win or draw and another 3.5. That's our verdict for that very game. Home win or draw and less than 4 goals in this very match. Okay, that takes us to the next and it is in Chile, Copa Chile, where we have Huchipato coming up against Puerto Montt. All right, when you look at this side, how they fared, the home side have won just one game in the last 6 games, but have lost 5 out of those 6. And Puerto Montt, which is in lower division of Chile, actually have managed 2 wins, 1 draw, and as well as 3 losses in the last 6 matches that they had. All right, when you look at how these two teams have fared in recent games, you could see that in the last 10 home games for Chipato, they've actually managed to achieve just 2 victories, and they've had 4 draws. But also they have lost 4 matches in the last 10 home games that they had so far. And Puerto Montt away side have actually managed to achieve 4 wins from away. They've also seen 2 draws and also 4 losses in the last 10 away games that they had so far. All right, and the last time they met was earlier this month. We saw Port Montt defeating Huchipato by 5 goals to 1. On that very occasion, we saw prior to that in 2022, that's 2 years ago, we saw Huchipato winning by 3 goals to 0 against Port Montt. But in this very encounter, we expect to see either side achieving a result in this very one, seeing that the last 10 meetings for both sides have never seen a draw. It has always been one side winning, and in this very game, we expect to see either side to win in this very encounter. Okay, that's our verdict for that very game. Okay, that takes us to the next for today. It is an UEFA Women's Champions League match where we have Juventus women who will be up against Bayern Munich women. And when you look at the recent games for both sides, you see that Juventus women in the last 6 have actually won all these matches that have played so far. The last 6 games that I had so far, and the Bayern Munich women have as well won 5 games out of the last 6, but have lost 1 out of those recent 6 games that they had. And when you look at how these two teams have performed, from home and away perspective, you could see that for Juventus women in the last 10 home matches, they've actually won 9 out of those, but have lost just a single game in the last 10 home games that they have so far. That loss was in the match against the Inter Milan women. Okay, and also what you've mentioned is the fact that out of the past 10 home games for the home side, Juventus women have actually won all 9, and it has also resulted to over 2.5 on 8 occasions out of the last 10, out of 10. And for the away side also, Bayern Munich women, they have actually won 9 games from away and have lost 1, which was their last away match against Wolfsburg. They lost that by 2 goals to 0. And also looking closely, you'll also see that 8 games out of the past 10 away games that they have so far produce a loss of goals over 2.5 as well. And in this very one, and we'll look at head-to-head meetings, which was in August, where both sides met each other in a women club friendly, and that match ended up being a 0-0 draw. But in this very one, we expect to see lots of goals happening in this very one, and it is a minimum of 3 goals that we expect in this very one. Over 2.5, that's our value for that very encounter. All right, that takes us to the next for today, which are going to be the last, but it's also in the UEFA Women Champions League match. We'll have Arsenal women who will be up against Vologda women. Okay, looking at Arsenal women who have won 2 games in the last 6, they've also had 2 draws as well as 2 losses in the last 6 matches that they had so far. And the Vologda women have won 5 games out of the last 6 games that they had so far, but they've lost 1. All right, when you look at the recent how these two teams have fared, from the recent games from home and away perspective, you guys will see that for Arsenal women in the last 10 home games, they have actually achieved several victories out of those, but have lost 1 game, which was the last home game that they played out so far against Chelsea women. They lost that by 2 goals to 1 on that occasion. They also have had 2 draws as well, and they've won 70% of the home matches, and that's a very strong side in England. And Vologda women, on the other hand, they've actually been able to Vologda is in Norway. They've actually won 8 games out of the past 10 away games that they had so far. They've lost 2 out of those, and there's no head-to-head record for both sides. But in this very encounter, we know that Arsenal team is a team packed with lots of good quality players. Compared to the Vologda women who are playing in Norway. And the 2 leagues cannot be compared. Those 2 leagues are actually quite way better than Premier League, England League is actually way better than the Norwegian League. And in this very encounter, we really expect Arsenal to win out throughout in this very game. Also, considering the fact that in this Arsenal have been scoring lots of goals, and we expect to see Arsenal winning plus an over 2.5 in this very one. So home win and over 2.5. That's our verdict for that very game. All right, that brings our predictions for you today on BetCrafter to a conclusion. I wish you the very best of luck. Also, remember to play responsibly. And it's only a football game, so sometimes things can change. All right, that being said, tomorrow is another day, and we'll be coming up with our predictions on this very channel. I wouldn't want you to miss out. All right, then, keep winning.